I want to say thank you to each and every one of you for listening or watching the latest episode of Fostering Change. All of us on our team hope that you've learned something new today and have been inspired to be a good human. Now, just a reminder that you can always find Fostering Change on your favorite channels on Google, Spotify, iTunes, YouTube, and others, including, of course, comfortcases.org. I want to give a big thank you to all of you for joining us each and every week. And a reminder that if you have a suggestion for a guest, or maybe you might have a question about today's podcast, or are interested in becoming a sponsor of Fostering Change, please don't hesitate to email me personally at fosteringchange@comfortcases.org. Now, that's it for now. Thanks again, and we'll see you next Tuesday. Take care. Well, it's so hard to believe that we are actually getting through this year so fast. It's been quite an amazing time. I will tell you, 2021 really showed me something that I never thought I would see before, and that is how many families arrived at our organization to pack cases. I always truly do believe that if you teach your community on a problem that we are all having, whether that problem is, in foster care, or it's people who are experiencing homelessness, or it's the fact that we need more help in our food banks. If you teach them what the problem is and then give them the opportunity, they will step up. And that is exactly what my next guest has done. See, my next guest has started a organization that really brings us together as family. And remind everybody, family is not always your blood, but family is those that you bring close to enjoy the amazing times of things that you do in your life. Kristina Lowenstein has the Honeycomb Project, which is based right out of Chicago, but I hear that they are national, and we're going to find out all about that. Kristina, welcome to Fostering Change.
Oh, thanks for having me, Rob. I'm so excited to be here.
I will tell you that I am all about volunteering. I tell people quite often, each and every one of us, no matter if we're a male or a female, white or black, whatever nationality, every single person in the world, we all have the same exact thing that is the most valuable, and that is our time. Our time. And so when you volunteer your time, you're giving more than anyone could ever give. So tell my listeners and viewers about the Honeycomb Project.
So the Honeycomb Project is a Chicago-based organization founded on the idea of family volunteering. When my kids were young, I had a really hard time finding meaningful opportunities for our whole family to volunteer together. And so I partnered up with another mom from my kids' school to really just get our own families involved in volunteering. And it became apparent very quickly that there were lots of families just like ours really looking to get involved.
Yeah, I will have to tell you, I find that quite often where people want to do, I do believe that we're all doers. It's the reason the world goes around, but they just don't know the opportunities. And one of the things that I've also noticed is the age restrictions that there are for so many nonprofits that are out there. We happen to be a nonprofit at Comfort Cases where we do not have any age restrictions. And just at the end of last year, we actually had an article that came out where a 4-year-old had come and volunteered at Comfort Cases, and her mother happens to be a blogger, and she wrote an article about how she was so surprised that, trying to find opportunities for her 4-year-old, just she couldn't find them. And and I always have thought, wouldn't it be great if we had like a master website, which, by the way, I'm going to throw a little note out there about my friend Bob Dalton, who's actually created this, that a website where you can go, you can find out volunteer opportunities, and how that age restriction. So tell me, how do you bring, the Honeycomb Project to people? How do you get your word out?
Yeah, so we really have grown by word of mouth. I mean, I think that is right. The amazing thing is people power in their voice can really transform communities, as you mentioned in the beginning. So, we started with our group of friends. They told their group of friends. Now we mobilize 5,000 youth and families from the Chicago area, and we have about 95% of Chicago zip codes represented in our programs. And so, I think it's a really unique way to get out of your neighborhood, get out of maybe your school or faith-based network, and just really connect with other folks in our community.
So do you do anything outside of Chicago?
Right now, our work is focused in the city of Chicago, all of our in-person programs, but something interesting happened during the COVID crisis in that we really wanted to create a lot of opportunities for families wherever they were to get involved. And so we started offering a variety of socially distanced programs, donation drop-offs. We created a virtual volunteer program. And with that, we found that we were really touching families from all over the Chicagoland area, even out of state. And we had teachers using those resources and, Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts. And so, through the last couple of years, our reach has really spread.
Wow, I absolutely love that. And by the way, I've visited your website. I've seen some of the amazing pictures of the kids, who are volunteering. And again, as adults, we know about this, and we should know we need to volunteer. But there's nothing that I love more than when I see kids helping kids. I say this. There's a T-shirt that we give to kids in our center that says "Kids Helping Kids" because I truly do believe it is the key to success in our future. You invest in a child today, your future will be brighter tomorrow. So tell me some of the things that you have actually been able to help with when it comes to volunteering.
Yeah, so I think first and foremost, what we discovered pretty quickly was that nonprofit organizations across the city really wanted to get families involved, but they didn't have the staff or resources or right opportunities to really engage families in service. And so what we really do is work with those nonprofit partners first to really listen to their needs and think about how we can mobilize families to support their missions. And so every program we do is radically different. And what we do is provide those programs and services for free for our nonprofit partners. So we'll bring the staff. If we're cooking in a shelter, we'll bring all the food. We'll bring even the cooking equipment. We'll bring our trained team to really help make sure that we can, run a catering kitchen with children successfully and prepare a delicious meal. And so, that for us is really important, is that we are really doing impactful, meaningful work, and that kids are walking away from those experiences more informed to really take action.
As a dad of 5 kids, my husband and I have raised our kids that, volunteerism is the number one thing in our family. And the fact that they've grown up with their dads having a nonprofit. What do you think the benefits are, though, for families for volunteering?
Yeah, so now that we're 10 years in, it's really exciting to watch kids growing with our organization. We're finding that kids have volunteered with us 4, 5, 6 years. And more than just coming out to our events or looking for service credit, they're really committed to our organization for the long term. And so we're finding that about 30% of Honeycomb kids are inviting their friends to participate. 30% are donating goods and services to our partner organizations. And then another 20% actually raise money. So those kids are raising their own money to support the causes and partners we work with. And so, there really is this ripple effect by giving young people the tools and opportunities and, learning resources to volunteer together.
Yeah, I absolutely love that. I see that throughout the years. We're on our 10th year as well at Comfort Cases. And it amazes me when, last summer we actually had a young girl who picked flowers out of her yard and she sold these bouquets to raise money to send to us so we can make more cases. So I love when kids, get excited about giving back. It's something that I say quite often on our podcast is empathy is not in our DNA. It is something we must teach our children. And I think that's so important. Listen, everybody, I am so excited about this interview today because as you all know, volunteering is the most important thing that we can do. Each and every one of us, we are placed here on this planet to serve and to serve each other. And as I say it all the time, lift a human up and you will always stand taller. We'll be right back. This episode of Fostering Change is sponsored by Comfort Cases, a national nonprofit that inspires our communities to bring hope and dignity to our youth that are in foster care. For just $10 a month, you can support the Comfort Cases mission and help us eliminate trash bags for kids who are entering foster care. For every $10 that you give, Comfort Cases will give a Comfort XL to a child entering the system. Be part of the change. Visit comfortcases.org. Well, as you know, as you all can see, I wore my merchandise, which is Be a Good Human. And I did that specifically, I know I can get that word out. I did that specifically because of our guest, because that's exactly what she and her organization are doing. They're being good humans. And as we were just talking during the commercial break, we both have the same saying, which is, as you all know, I say this almost on a daily basis, is lead by example. Lead by example. You know, how can we tell our children to do something if we do not lead by example? So, you know, I would like to know, Kristina, when it comes to families and leading by example, you know, we touched base on that on the first part of our show, but I think that there's a lot more when it comes to the whole family dynamics of giving back. What do you feel about that?
I think it's, really amazing to watch families volunteer together. When we started Honeycomb, this idea of leading by example was so important. I felt like with my own family, I was talking a lot about issues that were important to us, but they were so abstract for my kids, and so I really wanted to give them the opportunity to connect firsthand with these issues and really, by my side, work to address concerns in our community. And so I think what's really special about family volunteering is you're trusting your children to really step up and serve. And by making that a family experience, right, you're deepening the dialogue, you're giving families a way to really connect with each other. And kids can watch their parents commit to these causes. And so, at Honeycomb, it's the kind of place where we shut down our technology, we roll up our sleeves, we meet our neighbors. And what's been exciting is those parents are leading by example, but now we're seeing those older kids, the teenagers with Honeycomb, leading by example for younger kids within our network just naturally. And I think that is so powerful to see.
Yeah, I absolutely love it. I will tell you, our organization, we're getting ready to celebrate our 10th year as well. And I have seen kids in here that started with us in the beginning. And now I see them that they're in high school and they're coming in, they're doing their, in our state, we require that kids have to do so many volunteer hours before they can graduate, which I absolutely love. And by the way, for all of those that are listening to this, get your county to do that. Again, empathy is not in our DNA. And so I love when I see these high school kids in here getting their service learning hours. And I remember when they were 5 and 6 and they were, packing cases. One of the things that has been something that I've always seen a struggle throughout our community. And by the way, I remind people, your community is not your zip code, my friends. I say it quite often. Your community is not your zip code. It's our human race. So what I do find out within our community is, making something appealing for a kid. And a good example is, I remember when my kids were a little younger than they are now, and I have teenagers now. We had gone to a homeless shelter, and it was kind of scary for my kids, and they didn't want to go back. It wasn't appealing. How do you do that to appeal to kids with different interests?
Mm-hmm. So right now we have dozens of in-person programs on our calendar, everything from, building nature trails along the Chicago River to preparing fresh meals at shelters, to working in urban farms. So we have a variety of projects to sort of fit any interest, any, skill and ability, a wide range of ages. Oftentimes we find that families let the kids pick their favorite projects or causes that they believe in, and that often drives how they participate. And so that's kind of how we've been doing things. We also provide families with educational content before those projects. And so, what you mentioned about having maybe a negative experience at a shelter, for us, we really want families to walk in, kind of already having those conversations, knowing what to expect. And so we really try to give them the materials they need to make the most of those experiences, feel comfortable and ready right from the start.
So, COVID was hard on everyone. It has been, and I think it's still hard on a lot of us, but COVID was hard on everyone. How did COVID affect the Honeycomb Project?
We knew that this was a crisis that was going to take time to get through. And we wanted to make sure that as an organization, we were leaning into this moment to really give families an opportunity to give back in a way that was safe, but also support our partner organizations. And so we really, like so many organizations, reimagined our programs. We created a virtual volunteer program, but again, with that rich educational content so that we made sure that families were still talking about these issues, connecting at a deeper level with each other. And then, they delivered donations all throughout our community. They, made PPE equipment, for different hospital workers and things like that. And it was just so inspiring to watch, while we were all sheltering at home, just families really stepping up and helping our community.
Yeah, I really noticed that as well. We were very lucky. Our governor actually considered us an essential nonprofit. So, for the first 3 or 4 months, it was just my family and my team's family. But, it was nice to see everybody back in, still making sure. As we end this up, I really have the important question is I'm trying to figure this out and I can't. So I need your help on this. How do you fund this organization? Because I know, as someone who has founded a nonprofit, funding is the hardest thing. And even though we might have the passion for what we're doing and we know our community needs it, it's getting those funds to keep it moving along. Because at the end of the day, I say this quite often: if you do not fill your cup, you cannot fill someone else's. So how do you do the funding for this?
Yeah, it's a great question. I mean, for us, when we started Honeycomb, we knew that we wanted to provide these programs for free for our nonprofit partners. And we knew that we wanted to give every family in the city an opportunity to volunteer with us, regardless of income, just come one, come all, right? Really removing all of those barriers around volunteerism. And so we really look to individuals and corporations, family foundations to help us fund those programs. I would say about 30% of our entire operating budget is really funded by Honeycomb families who are coming out to our programs and pledging their support. And really, I think what they see firsthand is when they're supporting Honeycomb by mobilizing kids, they're getting, all of these resources to organizations across the city. I mean, we just did a big coat drive and had 800 brand new coats that Honeycomb families collected delivered to a local organization. In the fall, we had a Halloween costume drive and delivered 400 new costumes that were choice costumes for children living at shelters across the city. And so, when you think about creating that opportunity, it really has exponential impact.
Wow, I love it. I absolutely love it. Listen, it excites me. It excites me when I know people like you are in my world, when people like you and your organization is doing exactly what we all should be doing. And I say it quite often, if you build a strong foundation within your community is even stronger. Listen, I cannot thank you enough, Kristina, for being on Fostering Change. I would love everybody to do me a favor. I want you to visit the Honeycomb Project. Maybe you're not located right there in Chicago. Maybe you're not located right there within the places where they are doing something. But I'm telling you something, this can inspire you. It can inspire you to get going within your community. I say it often, take care of your backyard before you can take care of your front yard. But each and every one of us have a valuable thing, and that is our time. We need to do that. We need to do, as my friend Kristina says, lead by example. If you want to complain about it, you got to get in there and try to help fix it. And that's what we all should do. So until the next time of Fostering Change, thank you so much. Please visit the Honeycomb Project. We will be having all of the links on all of our social media platforms. And I will talk to all of you next Tuesday. Take care. I want to say thank you to each and every one of you for listening or watching the latest episode of Fostering Change. All of us on our team hope that you've learned something new today and have been inspired to be a good human. Now, just a reminder that you can always find Fostering Change on your favorite channels on Google, Spotify, iTunes, YouTube, and others, including, of course, comfortcases.org. I want to give a big thank you to all of you for joining us each and every week. And a reminder that if you have a suggestion for a guest, or maybe you might have a question about today's podcast, or are interested in becoming a sponsor of Fostering Change, please don't hesitate to email me personally at fosteringchange@comfortcases.org. Now, that's it for now. Thanks again, and we'll see you next Tuesday. Take care.